InvestSMART Separately Managed Account Benefit Number 3. Total transparency. In a separately managed account, you'll see all holdings, transactions, and income. Unlike a managed fund where you'll only be shown the top 10 holdings, or sometimes even less. You get to see the successes, and we won't hide the losers. With a simple click on the stock code, you can read the logic behind every buy and sell decision. For more information, visit www.investsmart.com.au or download our new app.
Hello, I'm Tony Kaye. I'm the editor of Eureka Report. Now, I'm talking financial planning today with Carol Tawfik, one of our financial advice commentators. Hi, Carol.
Hi, Tony. Good to be with you today.
Yeah, thanks for coming in. Last time we talked about people in the 30s age group. Today I wanted to talk about going forward another 10 years to people in their 40s. Some of the things that they should be considering in terms of investing and estate planning, wealth management, all of those types of things. So what are you seeing really in regards to people in their 40s?
Yeah, I think what we often see, or what people describe as feeling at that time, is that it's sort of often a feeling that the wheels just need to keep spinning at that stage. Often fixed costs are at their peak with perhaps, things like school fees and mortgages. So I think it can present as a challenging time for people to feel that they're making a conscious headway in their financial growth. So there's certainly challenges that people are faced with in their 40s, I think, but certainly there's many opportunities, even in sort of small incremental ways, to make some real headway. Certainly in terms of reviewing insurances, estate planning, contribution to super where possible, those are the sorts of things that we find that we are speaking most to clients in their 40s about.
So I suppose if someone's started in their 30s or even in their 20s, if they can, and so by the time they get to their 40s, things have started to hopefully show a direction in terms of growth in wealth.
Yes.
But I guess for people in their 40s, a lot of the challenges are around added costs, perhaps with school fees, maybe having traded up to a more expensive home.
Yes.
To cater for the growing family. So there's those types of issues.
Yeah, exactly. So often what tends to happen is that financial decisions around financial management sort of seem to be parked a little bit with this feeling that, I'll make more of a conscious effort to contribute to super and those sorts of things in a few years to come, when perhaps the children are a little bit older and we've repaid some of the home down and all of those sorts of things. So what we tend to see is that there's a real fragmented approach to financial management, often in the 40s, without there being a nice sort of strong, cohesive strategy, which, very typically delayed until people enter into their 50s and they're approaching retirement. So we tend to see less of a cohesive strategy in the 40s, which I think really impacts things over time. And if you're able to sort of take stock in that decade and make some wise financial decisions, you can really put yourself on a really good, strong footing ahead of those years before retirement.
Yeah, what about in terms of asset allocation strategies, investment strategies? I suppose you're almost at a bit of a midpoint in a way in your 40s. You've still got quite a bit of time ahead of you in the workforce.
Yes.
Should someone or people still be looking at growth-oriented strategies in that age band?
I think so, yes, certainly, particularly, of course, when it comes to superannuation, you still have, a very long investment time horizon. So often that's where the bulk of the growth strategy will be within superannuation, where there's plenty of time to ride out those ups and downs. Just on superannuation as well, I think it's worth talking about the benefit of contribution to super. Again, with the challenges sort of posed in that time, it can be difficult to justify redirecting some of your income to superannuation when there are so many other demands and fixed costs potentially at that time. But also, of course, the the preservation that you're faced with superannuation in terms of when you can access can mean that there is a feeling of disincentive, I suppose, to contribute to superannuation. But certainly there is good sense now, I think, with the changes to the concessional contribution rules in terms of we no longer have the ability to make those large contributions in the years leading up to retirement. Those years when we used to, 50 or even 100,000 could be contributed on a salary sacrifice basis. That, of course, no longer exists. So it's more difficult to really ramp up the contribution to superannuation. So I think it is important for people to think about even small incremental salary sacrifice contributions much earlier on than perhaps people have in more recent years, and look more to commence that perhaps in the 40s in order to give the best possible chance of arriving at a healthy superannuation balance.
Yeah, the rules have changed certainly a lot, and as we know, they're changing again.
Yes.
Yet again, the levels are coming down. If people can get more money into super at that concessional rate, it's probably one of the best investing alternatives in a way.
It is, and of course you also get the salary. So as well as contributing to super, you get the salary sacrifice benefit as well. So reducing your taxable income. So there is that additional benefit there as well that might add to the incentive.
In terms of the estate planning side of things, we've talked a little bit about tweaking your insurance, or getting other pieces of the puzzle together.
Yes.
What are the main things that people should be looking at?
I think, certainly regular review of insurances and things like wills and powers of attorney are important at any age, particularly when one is in their 40s. I think, potentially a lot will have happened over the 10 years prior. Often there's, potential business interests, family changes, relationships, children. Those are the sorts of things that tend to happen around that time, which really mean that reviewing wills and reviewing insurances is really sort of critical to keep up to date. In the case of insurances, certainly mortgages and children, things like that, mean that the insurances probably deserve a review to ensure that there's sufficient cover there.
Oh, thanks, Carol. Thanks for coming in again.
Pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Always good to talk to you, and next time we'll talk about people in their 50s.
Sounds good. Look forward to it.
I'm Tony Kaye. I'm the editor of Eureka Report. Join us again next time.